Sergey Kovalev wins 12-round UD over Eleider Alvarez. Now, going into this fight, I picked Eleider Alvarez to win because I thought that Sergey Kovalev, from a mental point of view, hadn't made the correct adjustments. I thought he was still blaming the loss on luck, on a lucky punch. And I thought that Sergey Kovalev, despite the fact he's with a new trainer and Buddy McGurk, would still have all those old issues of just arrogance, of complacency, and of blaming everybody else. Well, none of that happened in this fight. Sergey Kovalev boxed Eleider Alvarez's head off. He was controlled. He was disciplined. He was in great condition. He didn't appear to gas at all. And Alvarez really had no answer. Alvarez, I think, did try and pick up from where he left off, but I think he just expected Sergey Kovalev to fight a completely different fight. And when Sergey Kovalev came out boxing, which is something that you could say a lot of Buddy McGurk fighters do tend to do, I just don't think he was ready for it. Now, Kovalev, he was very, very controlled in this fight. He wasn't looking for the knockout, which was the first thing I noticed when I was watching this fight back, was that he was happy to just stay on the outside jab and then wrap Eleider Alvarez up on the inside. He was giving some good movement, but he was really controlling the fight from the outside with his jab. Sergey Kovalev's always had a great jab. He's always had a great jab. He's always had a vulnerability to getting hit with jabs. But in this fight, he didn't have any vulnerabilities to getting hit with jabs. Alvarez's jab was pretty much non-existent. Sergey Kovalev, he made some brilliant adjustments technically. He boxed a very strategic, very good fight. I thought this was the best I've seen Sergey Kovalev in many years, since I think the Jean Pascal fight was the last time I could say, this is when I saw Sergey Kovalev looking as good. He was definitely flowing, but he wasn't reckless. You see, when Sergey Kovalev would be flowing in the past, he would just go all out, try and get the guy out of there. And he would be a bit reckless. And you could, not necessarily say he would smother his work necessarily, but he would just kind of throw caution to the wind because he knew his power could, get him through things. Whereas in this fight, he was flowing, but he wasn't reckless. He was just controlling things, sticking to his boxing, and I think Sergey Kovalev grew in confidence the more this fight went on. I think he went into this fight confident, but I think that the more he got into this fight and realised how good his game plan was and how Alvarez didn't really have an answer, his confidence started to grow after that. Sergey Kovalev, he boxed fantastically well, and it does beg the question, if he had started his career earlier with a Buddy McGurk in his corner, how different would his career have been? Would he have been beaten by Andre Ward? Who knows? Me personally, I think that it wouldn't have made a difference if Buddy McGurk was in Kovalev's corner. I think he needed them defeats to grow as a fighter, because speaking from personal experience, not in just the world of boxing, when you think a certain way and then someone not necessarily humbled you, but you go through something, it can change you. It can actually make you stronger. And, you start seeing things as they are and you actually improve from that, whereas before you didn't. So I think Sergey Kovalev's improved massively from that. And I think that him with Buddy McGurk, that could be a little combination to the light heavyweight division, because Sergey Kovalev, even though he wasn't trying for the knockout, he still has power. He still has dynamite in both fists that if he wants to try for a knockout, I'm sure he could have got it. At the light heavyweight division, we have Beterbiev, we have Bivol, and we have Vodcek. Now, Beterbiev, in my opinion, I would have him at number one. I know he was dropped heavily by Callum Johnson, which is not good. I still think that Beterbiev would be my pick for number one in the light heavyweight division. Bivol, who is very fast, he is explosive, but he's not really shown that in his last few fights. He is very small. He's really a super middleweight, Dmitry Bivol, which makes what he's doing in light heavyweight all the more impressive. And then we have Vodcek. I would say Vodcek would be kind of the weak link, because, he's been down, I think, once or twice in his career. He was losing, in my opinion, the Adonis Stevenson fight until late on in the fight when he eventually broke through. I think that Kovalev would beat him. But Kovalev now, he's 35. He didn't take any punishment really in this fight, none whatsoever. A few little jitters, but that was it. And Kovalev, he's looking like he's having an Indian summer in his career. He's looking like he's having the twilight to his career. I think Buddy McGurk and Kovalev are a good combination. I think the strength and conditioning coach he has now, that needs to stick with that guy. There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, if it ain't perfect, keep working on it. And definitely with John David Jackson, it wasn't perfect. And definitely with the other trainer, who I believe was Russian, clearly wasn't perfect. So that was my thoughts on this. It was a good fight. I got this prediction completely wrong, but ain't no shame in that. Kovalev is a fantastic fighter, and he surprised me. I didn't think he had it in him to fight like this, but that was my thoughts on this. I thought Kovalev won every round in this fight, to be honest. Two judges had it 116, 112. Couldn't say that. Don't know how they got that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this. And again, leave yours down below, and I'll talk to you after.